So next I'm gonna glue, put the biscuits in, and I am gonna brad nail the corners, only because when the legs go on, they're gonna cover the brad nails. But it's just literally just hold them in place, and then I'll get it clamped up. I'll get a cloth just to wipe off the excess glue. Alright, so that's all glued up, biscuited and glued up now. Obviously, I'm sure you guys all notice there's a hole there. Now that's deliberate because I'm going to trim the corner off of this down here. The USB cables, which is going to run for the OBS light and the wireless charger, or the cordless charger, are all going to come around now, run down there and run on the inside of the leg, because you're going to have a corner leg on there. So that's deliberate, so don't panic about that, it's absolutely fine. Right, next thing to do, so we'll get that clamped up, and then that can sit up overnight. We'll go and check the top in a moment, see if we need to pop any bubbles. But let's get this clamped up for now. Wipe off any excess glue. can't bother to get the bigger clamps, so we'll just clamp this one up. Might do double that up actually. Need the longer ones for the other sides. Right, this is a bit of a miscreant. That's what we'll do. So we'll take one of these blocks and we'll put that on the side. Then I can put that. Now. Bring her in a bit. Get rid of these squeeze off on the inside. Squeeze out. So. That's that bit done for now. I can stay down there till tomorrow morning, and then that could be unclamped. And I'll start the legs. The legs are going to be out of this oak. Oh. This is just 10mm oak slats, and I'll just sort out the best ones. It's going to use 8 of them. Obviously 4 per corner. If you're doing a corner leg, then obviously that's how it's going to be. I am going to mitre them, so that'll be good. Don't want to do any butt joints on the legs. I'd rather do miters. So let's sort all them out. And like I say, we'll sort the best ones out. Probably get the straightest and pair them up so they look nice. We'll get that sorted tomorrow. At the moment, I don't want to create too much dust because I've still got the top setting up. So we've got oak top, oak veneer ply, and we're going to do some solid wood legs, solid oak legs. We are also round the bottom of it, or a couple of 100mm up. I'm going to do like a shelf bit. That way we're going to stabilise the legs, and it will also give us storage underneath the table. But like I say, all of that's going to be as of tomorrow. But for the moment, I just need to go and check and see how that top's doing. So there's our top. Seems to be doing quite well. Got, don't know if it's going to focus, but you can see there are a few tiny little bubbles on the edge. Although I sealed the edges, I haven't sealed the entire thing, and because obviously where the resins come over, you're going to get air bubbles there because wood's porous. So obviously there is going to be air inside it. There's not much, but at least we know that the actual river bit, there won't be any air in there. I have popped a couple, but I mean apart from that, it's going to be good. I just need to let that set up. I'm going to give that at least 2 or 3 days, but that'll give me a chance to get the rest of the base made up, get the legs put in, get the OBS light in there, or OSB, whatever. It's not OSB, that's wood. OBS light put in now, and sort out about putting in for the wireless charger, but obviously I can't do that yet because that's going in the top. I'll show you that now actually. Right, so the wireless charger I ordered is literally just a plain basic wireless charger, but it's not what they sent me. They actually sent me this one, and the one I was ordered was just plain white wireless charger. So, and I mean that was going to be sitting under the table, so I was going to route out the bottom of the table, give myself about 3 mil, just enough gap so that when you put it on top you wouldn't see the charger, but when you put your phone down on top it senses the charger and it would charge up. But that's not what they sent me. Instead they sent me this one, and so I mean this one's going to have to go in from up top because this one lights up. So rather than waste the fact that it lights up, I'm going to set that one on top. So I'm going to have to actually cut in the table, and then I'll have to, what I'm going to have to do is try and work out a way that I can hide this this lead. I'd really rather not have that, but I mean it's literally almost flush with the top of the charger. So unfortunately I'm thinking that's going to have to be in the actual table, and then I'll just come down from there. I know I'll come out about 20-30 mil from the actual charger itself, and then the rest of the cable will go in underneath the table. I don't want the whole thing just hanging out on the top. But I mean I'm not going to complain. I mean I paid for just a plain basic charger, and they sent me one that all lights up, all fancy, and but you know, we'll use the lights, we're not going to waste them, we'll use them, but it just means that things are going to be a little bit more different, or a little bit different from what the original plan was. But it is what it is. I mean, stuff happens, but we'll make do and we'll go from there. Right, next thing to do is get the legs on. This is where the cable's going to come through. I've put the cable through for the cordless charger or wireless charger, so that's through. That's going to sit up there in that gap. So we'll get the legs on and do that next. I've got a bang clamp for this because I can't put any brad nails or screws in this. Don't want any brad nails or screws or anything showing. I'd rather not muck around with filling, so we'll get all these done and then we'll go from there. got some of these L clamps as well, so we'll get them on as well. Some of these just hold the actual legs. Some mini clamps. Deal with the squeeze out while we're going. I'll be fairly quick with this, because obviously the glue will start setting up. Come around the other side. I'll bring you back in a second. Right, bit of a jumble. So everything's clamped up. Got the band clamp on. Got some F clamps just to keep it nice and secure. We've got the little L brackets up there, so they're all sorted. So that's that for today. Can't do any more to that today until all that glue's set off. So now I'm going to start looking at the top. Right, so I've just been looking at my top. I ain't going to be able to demould this today. It's still just a little bit too soft. That's going to need at least another couple of days, maybe another day or two. But I ain't going to be able to do that until that's completely set. Obviously once this is done, once it's set off, then obviously I can just get my router sled and I can smooth off the top, turn it over, do the other end, or do the other side. But I can't do that until that resin's set. Right guys, it's the next day. I'm back now. I'm going to get it all unclamped, and then we'll see where we're going to go from now. Going to get the rest of these in, all these slats in as cross members. Then I can sort out about giving it the final sand, stained, and then I'll start sorting out the top, getting the top routed out and smoothed out. But that's going to be our next chore. I'll bring you back when that's all done. Right, so we're declamped. So next thing's going to be get the other supports in, and then we'll get all the cross slats in for the shelf. What I've decided is that's the back, so that's going to be the front. Rather than having them run that way, I'm going to have them run the opposite way. Doesn't really make any difference, but I just think it'll look a bit better. I mean, the actual rear table is going to run that way. The river on the table is actually going to run that way. That way I can keep the hinges in the wood, and I don't need to worry about actually drilling in or screwing into the resin. So as the river's going that way, I'm going to have the slats running this way, just contrast. But we'll get the rest of these in, or we'll get the other two side ports in, and then we'll get all the slats in, and that'll be next. Right, sorry guys. Off camera, I've got all these slats on. I have had to use Brad's. Got the wood filler. I'm just going to have to sand that. But I've got all the slats on. Did it off camera because it was a long, tedious task. But they're on now, and they're all equally spaced. Got the last one on the edge there, which we've had to trim down, but I can sand that at a later date, or when I sand the rest of it. But yeah, apart from that, just the main bulk of the carcass finished. Just got to do a lot bit of sanding. Once that's done, then I can carry on with the top. I've checked it this morning, and it seems to be setting up rather well. So I'll get this bit done, and then we'll crack on with the top. Right, now we're ready, we'll do a bit more sanding. And I'll bring you back when we're finished on that. Right, so main carcass is finished, all the slats are on, all the hinges are cut, all the grooves are cut for the hinges. May seem a bit deep, but that's because the hinge is going to be completely inset on this bit and not on the top. That way it will sit flush on the top, and hopefully the light won't bleed through. But that's all done. Just waiting for that bit to dry with the glue, and then I can lay it all down with some airline, with the airline, and then get some finish on it. So we're complete on the carcass for the moment. Let's have a look at the top. Right, so we're back at the top. Obviously all this bit on the top is all going to get routed off. What I'm going to do is I'll move the screws right down. So what I'm going to do, since I know it's not going to rain, that is, get the table saw outside. I'm going to cut this form down so it's literally just fits. I'm going to cut down the height, and I'm going to use this as a sled, as the rail to run my routing sled across. But I can't do that until I know it's going to stop raining, because I'm not taking my cast iron table saw outside in the rain. But it's all set up. I think colours come out quite well. There's highlights of that white in now. But that's the next job. But like I say, I can't do that until the rain stops. So I'm contemplating on getting some finish on the carcass. Otherwise I'm at a standstill. So I've got the first coat of sanding sealer on. I'm running down the inside as well. Just a bit of denatured alcohol to get it back off of the perspex window. But I mean, it's all nice and clean now. Once it's completely dry, I'll give it a rub down the old scouring pad just to smooth it back, break all the frayed bits off, and then I can start with the shellac polish. Right, I'm hoping you guys can all see. I'm going to start with the inside. Put a glove on. Sure, this is going to get a bit messy. Yeah, this is going to get very messy. Ooh. This is going to take a while, so I'll bring you guys back for a close-up view in a moment. Right, hopefully you guys can see this. It's going to be darker than that, but I mean, you've got to build up at least 3 layers, I think. You're supposed to sand between each layer as well. And you get a light sand in between each layer. Starting to think my idea of cloths wasn't great. I've gone with what the directions on the pack said, but I think I might find an old t-shirt and destroy that. For what it's worth, I think I would probably use a sponge. Which is what I might do tomorrow when I put the other coat on. Or when I put the second one on. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this. I mean, it does darken it. But I'm assuming that the actual finish is going to be better once you've got a few coats on. But I think I will definitely use the sponge tomorrow. You would use a paper towel, but my fear is that if you use a paper towel, you may end up pulling bits off where the paper towel starts degrading. My biggest headache is going to be on the inside and getting between those slats as well. But we'll keep going, see how it looks. Alright, okay then guys, people, whatever. So, put the first coat on. Now, I don't know if you can see how much the light's reflecting on that, which is really, really minimal. That's putting it on the way they tell you to. And putting it on with a brush. I know which way I'm leaning. So tomorrow when it comes back to doing the second coat, I think we're going to ditch their idea. And I'm going to put it on a nice thin layer with a brush. Because that is so much better. I mean, it still needs to have a quick light sanding and the second coat yet, which should bring it up even better. But that's the way I'm going, or that's the way I'm leaning. But that's not going to be until tomorrow now. Right, catch you all later. Right, so we're back again. It's dry. Just going to give it a quick rough up with 1000 grit. Then I'm going to give it the second coat of the French polish. back when that's done. Right, that's all sanded down, all roughed up. Now I'll give it a second coat. There's a few. Places you've got to be quite careful. Right. And once again, I'll bring you back when that's done. Right, so second coat's done. Sorry for the sun, but that's all creating the shadow here. So now that's done, inside's all done as well on the second coat. Looking now, I'm going to give it one more coat, but so far that's coming along really well. So once that's done, oh sorry, now that's done, I'm going to start looking at the top. Right, so got our top semi-demoulded. I'm actually contemplating leaving it on the base for the moment, because that's level, so everything's flat, and I might just put the edges on and route off the top, get that levelled, then take it off, because then I've got a flat base, or one flat surface, and I can just turn that over. I'll probably just hot glue on the corners or on the ends, hold it down and smooth out the top or smooth out the bottom, whichever one works out. Obviously not sure which one's going to be top and bottom yet, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to leave that on there for now. I'm going to get the sides back on and we'll get that smoothed off. Alright, sorry if the lighting's a bit poor. We'll set up. I'm just going to get this smoothed off and we'll go from there. Not dead brilliant at the moment, but once I've got these little cut bits off, it should smooth out a bit. So I'm going to start there, get that bit done first. That's just where the plastic was to hold these down so that it's floating the resin. So I'm going to get those bits moved off first, and then we'll start smoothing off the entire block. So we'll go from there. Let's see how this works out. Should have said first, loud noises. Oh well, that's going to be messy. Oh, just a bit there. I'll get started. Bring this along. Bring it down ever so slightly. Just want to take a little bit at a time. I'm thinking about putting a clamp on this. I'll put a clamp on the handle. Right, so top's all smoothed off. Going to start the sanding now. I've actually started it. I mean, I've done the 80 grit, so I'm going to now go from the 80 up to the 800, and then we'll polish the resin, see what that looks like. I've got a couple of imperfections, but I'll sort them out once I've got it all smoothed off nicely. One bit of advice I found: when you're doing the sanding, you're working your way up through the grits, just wipe it down. A bit of denatured alcohol, just wipe it down, get rid of all the old crap off that's come off the sandpaper. So you're starting with a nice fresh surface once again. But just, it seems to work, you seem to get a better result, so try that. Right. I'm up to 400 grit at the moment. What you'll find is there's a lot of people on YouTube, or a lot of woodworkers on YouTube. Excuse me, dust. A lot of woodworkers on YouTube, you'll see them between each grit, they'll clean the surface and they'll get a pencil and just lightly scribe it. I've never bothered doing that, just for the simple fact is I'll do the first 80 grit, just one sheet. I'll just do one disc. I'll just do one disc of 80 grit, get it reasonably smooth, get most of the bumps out. Then I'll wipe it all off. But then from then on, I will literally just keep going, and I will literally destroy 2 discs of each grit. So I'll work through it until it's nothing left of it, and then I'll wipe it all down. Then I'll go to the next grit. I mean, I've got plenty of sandpaper. I've always made sure I've got plenty of sanding discs. But like I say, you can either do like the little pencil thing when they scribe it, just to make sure they're getting the entire sheet or the entire piece. But I've never bothered with that, because all I've ever done is just destroy 2 sheets or 2 discs. Right, see what works best for you. Right, so we've worked our way up to 800. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to sort out any little minor imperfections in the resin. And there are a few. One just there. There's a few there actually. Oh, it's weird. It's like a line. That might have been done with a router. Same actually there. But yeah, so we've got a few little minor imperfections there. That one now, and a few more along now. But we'll sort them out, and then I'll do my 1000 grit. I like to go to 800 with the top, any resin. Then I like to go up to 1000. This one, because I'm letting the light shine through it, I'm a bit concerned about the slightest imperfection that's going to show up. So I may end up even going to 15 or 2000 grit. But we'll see what it looks like once we've got these imperfections sorted, and then we'll go from there. Right, so now at 1000 grit, all the imperfections are sorted, lovely and smooth. So the next thing is going to be to break it off the bottom of this mould or form and get it flipped over, and then we can get the other side smooth. Now we've got a nice smooth flat surface on this side. Turn it over, we can get a nice smooth flat surface on the other side. Decide which one we're going to have as our top, and then it's just going to be a case of trimming around the edges to the size we want. And that's next. So top's all done, it's all nice and smoothed, it's all levelled out. So done up to 1000 grit, sorted out all the imperfections on the resin on the resin section. Can't do any more today, so that's going to be it for now. I mean, the carcass is all done. That's got all its finish on, which I'm really pleased with. It's come out really nice. Can't really see it too much on the legs, but oh, that looks a bit funny. But yeah, all sorted on there. Got the USB cable, that one's for the light. Actually, no, it's not. That's the one for the wireless charger. But we're going to get all that sorted when we get back to it. But for now, that's it. When I come back, we'll get all this sealed, rub it down, and then we'll start with the French polish on that. Right, but that's for another time. Right, so I've got the top and bottoms all nicely sanded. The next thing I've got to do is I'm going to cut a circle just deep enough to fit the cordless charger or wireless charger, whatever you call them. I've got a circle cutting jig here. It's from Parkside, not sponsored. But that's what I'm going to do. I've marked out the depth, so I'll cut down to the depth I want. I know it's going to leave a little bit of a hole, but I'm not too fussed about that, because it's not going to go right through, and you're not going to see it because the cordless charger is going to be there. So I've decided on the location, which is just roughly here. If I get a cordless charger, you'll see what I mean. So this is going to sit just there. So it's going to sit there. I'm going to have the lead coming off here, come out a little bit, and it'll go down, and I'm going to have the rubber seal which is going to go all the way around it. So I'm hoping that's going to look alright, because unfortunately there's no way of cutting the plug off, putting it back on, because then I'm still going to have the connection where I've had to resolder the wires. So I'm going to go for that for the moment and just hope it looks okay. So doing that next. Oh, helps if I turn the socket on. Right, here we go. Cool. It really wants to kick off. Oh, nearly lost you then. Whoa. Right. A bit. That's going to have to be sanded. But I'm going to route out the inside of that now. And once that's routed out, then obviously I'll fix around the rest of it. I'm just going to check the depth of the hole. I'll find my vernier, that is. So that's been, I don't know if you guys are the same, but whenever I'm doing anything, I inevitably end up putting stuff down, it gets covered in sawdust and dirt. Right, let's do it the old way with a ruler. Yeah, let's do it that way. I've just found the other tape I was wanting rather than that thick silver stuff. That will do nicely. Right, so like I said, now we come out the inside of that. I want to get something underneath, stop this from shifting about. Right, next, whoa. Next we're going to route out this. Got my little palm router, got a bit adjusted to the right depth. So that's going to be next on the agenda. Should we put a mask on? Right, shall we go? Oh. Power, twat head. Well, that's a pupper. just snapped my bit. Okay, right. So we're going to have to change that, aren't we? Right, let's try that again. That looks about right. So we'll carry on with that and I'll bring you back when that's done. Right, next I'm going to get the bottom sealed. I'm going to get one coat of that shellac polish on now. Then I'm going to turn it over. Once that's dry I can turn it over and I can do all the top or do the edges and do all the top and everything else. But yeah, next sand or seal the bottom. Get a coat of shellac on now. I'm only going to bother one on the bottom. Don't really think it's going to need two, but I'll look at it when it's done. I want to do the bottom before I do the trim the edges, otherwise, because obviously it's going to run down the sides and everything. So that's next. Right, so we've had to come back out into the garden. We need a bit more room. So now I need to cut down the top, get the top cut the size, then I can get it all coated, get the finish on it, and get it fitted to the base. So that's next. So I'm going to cut that too far, so I'm trying to get Right, so just now cut the size. So what I need to do, sand the edge. I'm not sure if I'm going to put a chamfer on that or just round them over. But I'll get the edges sanded and then we'll go from there. Right, I'm just going to finish off the edge bit. So that's the top finished. There's the sand in anyway. What I'll do now is sealer, and then actually it's not finished. I've actually got to do the bit for the cable for the wireless charger, so that's next. Right, so top's now all finished. I've actually done another sand on it. So I've gone up to 1500 grit now. I've sealed it, so I'm going to give it a few minutes just to go off. Then I'll go over it with a Scotch-Brite pad, just taking the edges off or taking the burrs off. I mean, doing that was quite painful because I've had to do a 12mm hole so I can get the plug through. But I mean, it is what it is. It's going to all have rubber seal around there anyway, so it should be okay. Yeah. Okay, so I mean that's now dry. So like I say, go over that now with a Scotch-Brite pad. Then I can sort out about getting the first coat on, or the first coat of shellac on, and go from there. Right, so next it's going to be putting the finished coat on of the shellac. So I'm going to put that on now. It says on the instructions put it on with a cloth, lint-free cloth, wrapped round cotton wool, but I actually don't like that. I prefer to put it on with a brush. It just seems to go on a lot better. So I'm going to do that now. Get that on. I'm going to go with the wood grain. Obviously we'll do the edges as well, obviously. And we'll see what that looks like once it's done. So I think we'll put it on long smooth strokes. I'll get this done and then I'll bring you back when that's all done. Right, so I've got the first coat on. I'm not overly impressed with it, so I think I am going to do a second coat. Obviously going to have to give that, I think it's about 2 hours you give it in twin coats. So we'll give that a couple of hours, and while that's doing that, I'll get the hinges on the base and we'll go from there. Right, so got this far. I'll try and get the camera a bit closer actually, because I mean that's not very good. Right, so I'm going to have to go mobile. Right, so got this bit finished. This is all finished now. Got the top on camera, or off camera, sorry. Got the top on. That was a bit difficult. So sorry I couldn't record that. But I mean, it's just putting the top on. Just cut screws. Now I'm going to get the rubber seal on there now. Then I'll get the cordless charger in. And then I'm just going to give the top one more wax. I mean, it's, I don't know if you can see how shiny it is, but probably not. But I'm going to give it another coat anyway. I'm going to give it a coat of wax anyway, to see if that helps. Right, I'll bring it back in a moment. Right, so sorry, off camera again, but I'm going to try and get close enough. So now giving it a coat of wax, or an extra coat of wax. The wireless charger's in there, and it's got that seal around it, so it's a nice tight fit, but if it ever breaks it's not a problem to replace it. I'll put a bit in there as well, just for the simple fact that because of the size of that and hole I had to drill to get that plug through. That's it, all done. So inside, that's all done. So next, get it indoors. I'm going to have to get the wife out of the way. Get it indoors, get it all plugged in, and then she can see it. Right, catch you. Alright guys, so we're now complete. So obviously I've pulled the curtains too. So you've got the river, wireless charger, and when you open up,
this weapon here was the weapon of choice for that. That's exactly right. It's called a matchlock musket, and it's called a matchlock because it uses match, which is this length of rope-like material, which is soaked in a
lights all the way around.
Very, very slowly. Ah, okay. So that when that was lit, that was called the match. That's the match. Once lit, the match worked as a smouldering
finished
wick
item.
to light the gunpowder.
Hope you guys liked it. If you think there's anything I could have done better, just drop me a comment, like and subscribe if you want to. Much